Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta.
Chicka chicka.
Welcome back, guys. Get to stay warm in the blizzard of 2025.
For the most part.
Use a lot of
in the
heat. Yeah, use a lot of heat.
You
More
use
than
a
I
lot
like
of
to.
heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's different.
took the kids out to the obligatory snowman stuff, and I was out there for about 20 minutes with them, and I decided that they were cold. I was like, y'all are cold. It's time to come in.
I'm done.
And we did not go back. I am literally the worst father. They may not see another snow like this until they're like in high school, easily. And like, no, didn't
Maybe
even
next
finish the
week,
snowman.
right? Next week,
Yes,
they're
that's what
saying.
they told me that there's supposed to be snow next week, but I didn't see that on the
We'll
forecast.
see. We'll see.
We'll see
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
getting
goes.
used to actually having to use this weird thing called heat.
We didn't.
I never-
Oh,
In condos, you don't have to really use it for the most part. I mean, barely.
Like if you're
Yeah.
because you're like surrounded by apartments using it.
Yeah. So like the person beneath me always had their heat at like 80 degrees. So I would just get heat coming through floors,
there's
pipes,
nothing worse
whatever.
than that first time you put your heater on in the
The
season.
smell. Ooh.
That smell, that burnt like dust and crud and dead skin
Mhm.
that's just been like blowing through your vents over the past 10 months. It's the worst.
That's where all the
I love it.
vitamins are, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the crust of the bread where they hide all the nutrients.
Gross.
So snowman, what did you do, Ryan? Did you do anything in the snow?
Snowman. Yeah. I'm actually a little sad though. I was frustrated with myself. I have all these boxes. Some of them are empty even. I promise I've unpacked something. And a big giant hill in my front yard. And nothing. Didn't do it. Didn't even think
man.
about it.
Oh man, we had within the 20 minutes, my kids were outside. Neighbors walked down the street with a sled going down to one of the parks, whatever. And I'm like, don't ask what that's for. We're not going to that thing.
They're going to scoop snow up for everyone. That's what they're doing.
Exactly. All right. What do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know, man.
Basketball
Basketball,
highs?
winning.
3-game win streak. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Wow.
It's like an idiot. I was talking to somebody at the hospitality suite before all this started, and I was like, I could see us going undefeated in conference. Maybe we still 2 or 3 games, 4 games on the road, or not on the road, but like at some point, not on the road. That's not going to happen. And then we proceeded to win the next 3 games. So I obviously have no clue what I'm talking about.
Different lineup, man.
Never know. You think it's the lineup? You think like our coach doesn't know who the best players are?
I think he is.
That's maybe worse, right?
I think he's at the point of just trying everything.
Well,
I don't know. Nutter went missing for a little while, and that's why he was out of the lineup. So like that's what I'm like. But coach was putting him in, sure was putting him in, and that seems to be like one of the big differences is a lack of Nutter.
Well, that and he's been playing like guys like he's not going very deep on the bench.
Mm-mm.
The starters are pretty much getting all the minutes. And he may bring somebody in, but then they end up playing 30-something minutes of the game as well. So we're only seeing like 7 or 8 guys play in the game. It seems like
keeping a tight lineup,
doesn't have a lot of faith in his bench. It seems like, right?
I mean, there have been some players I think I recall it played a bunch. I can't remember his name. But yeah, I think in the last game we were like 7 deep. That's it.
Well, we've also had guys that just like end up not being in the game, like even on the bench, like just like what was it, Evans or what? Darnell Evans, it just was gone for a couple of weeks, and then it was back. Nothing said, nothing going on. Like I don't know what's going on.
No one knows what happened to Nutter. I mean, he was gone, then just came back for Coastal Carolina, played a ton of minutes off the bench.
Was it Coastal that he came back for? Or was he there for Trash Down South, or was it Coastal he came back for?
I thought he came back for Coastal.
Didn't Nutter? Wasn't Nutter the one that nailed that 3-pointer at the going into the half?
Yes,
and that was against
half court shot was insane.
Maybe that's where he should start doing his free throws from.
A running start from half court.
I mean, I don't even think that's a put down. I mean, I guess it sort of is and sort of isn't, but
And that was just like, wow, watching that, and they get that 3-pointer or the 2-pointer. They got whatever they got right there, and with 3 seconds left in the half, and then for Nutter to grab the ball and just like chunk it it wasn't even mid court. It was like,
he's a little bit behind half court.
It was great. It was awesome.
And at that point, I was like, you know what? Maybe Jonas is starting to figure something out over here. Maybe it's not all for naught. Maybe he's doing something. But then we have Coastal a couple days later, and we're down 16 in the first, the first 6 minutes of the game or something.
It's a rough start.
Fun.
They came out so fast and like just so dominant. I mean, they were killing us. We looked. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, we looked absolutely horrible in that part of the game. It was not good.
That one guy from their team hit every single three he threw up, like every single one.
But, they were just killing the threes, weren't they?
Yeah, but the law of averages in basketball, you're not going to continue that. Like, it's very rare, and they had 10 threes going into half, and they had 10 threes at the end of the game. They had 0 in the second half, which was huge to slow them down, and for us to make the comeback.
They were talking on the broadcast about what a monster shooter that guy is. I don't remember his name, but they were the pregame.
Who was it?
Rashid Jones.
You're talking about Coastal?
Yeah, Coastal guy who was shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah, he was killing it. But the thing about Coastal that really got me is that I think it was number 32, the Granger guy. Mm-hmm. That dude took some kind of drugs. Like, he was hyped up beyond belief. Like, he was one of the first bench guys to come in, and he's sitting there, like, right there in front of the little board underneath the person to get ready, whatever. And and they were doing well. They're doing great, whatever. And he's like just banging on the floor every single shot that went. He was like blood vessels like popping in his head. He was just losing his mind at everything. And then he came into the game and he was still like amped up and hyped up and was missing crap. He ended up settling down a little bit, but man, that dude he took something before that game. He was amped up.
I feel like if we had Clash Peters and him playing, there'd be some technical fouls.
Oh yeah, Clash over there with his arm in the sling. I guess there's some things that cupping can't fix.
Oh boy.
Peters.
Apparently, a jacked up shoulder can't be fixed by cupping.
What can be fixed by cupping? That perfect.
Blood vessels that are not burst.
I was saying, yeah, like consistency in the color of your skin. You just have like these big, huge black and blue and purple circles all over your arms. Like, tell me you're done without telling me you're dumb.
So I thought the place was going to be a ghost town, but it looked like they had a pretty decent crowd. You were there, David, I think, right?
Yeah, I was expecting no one to be there. Being this Saturday, kind of a snowy Atlanta day and everything. Walked in, and like as soon as I started walking through the little hallway to the concourse to the seats, it looked like a. I said I was talking to Craig, and I was like, "This looks like a regular game." Not a lot of people there.
Quiet? Was it quiet? Was it weirdly quiet?
It was weird. It was weird with no band. Like obviously they do a lot and they do a fantastic job of it, but it was just like eerily quiet. Like I tried to get some. Well, once I tried to get a chant going and it didn't work, so I didn't try anymore. But it was it was a little weird out there, and just seeing that entire section, like the student section. I think there was like 3 people in the student section total, and then the band was just completely empty. But there was no cheerleaders either. Like all of that was just not there, non-existent. So, but
I will say, I mean, going to the student section, I know there wasn't anyone there because of the snow day. But for the Southern game, with the students being out, I was surprised by the number of students that showed up for that game. Maybe they figured something out. Students love tote bags. And
tote bags.
That is the draw. They give them tote bags. I don't know. Because
do something.
I think the students like when we play TDS.
So we should just put TDS as every opponent we play.
Well, like like rival things, something that's interesting, right? So like it's interesting when Georgia State plays TDS. To them.
I wish we still did the visitor thing on the scoreboard for TDS.
I was thinking about that too. Why don't we do that? Why can't we?
I bet we got in trouble, but we got in trouble like we did with the order of the flags. The whiny bitches from Statesboro, like, you can't do that.
I mean, you could play it off that we just can't spell.
We should. Well, I was gonna try. Yeah,
We
I don't know.
misspelled TDS and spelled visitor.
Exactly. I don't know. The Coastal actually had a decent fan section out there. They were over there, had a pretty good crowd, which was pretty rowdy at the beginning of it. I mean, they were just, up and hollering, hooting and hollering and everything until second half when Georgia State started kind of, figuring the stuff out and everything. And they got very, very quiet. It was very nice. I do think it was mostly family.
Well, the
It seemed like
Coastal
it was-
bench seemed really excited to be winning a game. So, like they just seemed hyped the whole time.
They were pretty hyped. And then they had that weird thing where, like, when they were doing like their coach timeouts, whatever, whereas like, our guys, they bring the little bench seats out and everyone kind of sits in a circle and Hayes gets in the middle and kind of like goes diagrams what they're going to do or whatever. This, like, the Coastal coaches would kind of go over around like, not really half court, like out in the middle of the court, and they would kind of like discuss amongst themselves. And while that was happening, they would put one chair on the sideline and then have like 4 other chairs around it. And all of the guys, all the Coastal players would like sit in these other chairs and like stare at this one chair. Like at first I was like, I thought they had like a phone up there for like a Zoom meeting or some weird crap like that. And then the coach would come over and sit in that chair and they'd all be focused on him, like a little stadium seating type thing. And that's how he would do his deal. It was very weird. I think I posted a picture of the whole thing. It was very strange.
A picture of them just staring at
church.
Yeah, that was before the coach came over. He was like over with the other assistant coaches. Like they were, I don't know, figuring out what they were going to. It was very strange. It was very strange.
Feels like they're at church or something, praising the Lord. I don't know.
Yeah, they're at the Church of the Box.
The Church of the Cock.
Whoa.
Sorry, the Shanticocks.
That's a different place in Midtown.
Exactly. But to be fair, Coastal and Trash on South are garbage teams, and I don't mean just from a fan perspective. I mean they're
just
not
500 is hovering, right?
They both have one win in conference. Their net rankings are worse than ours. So I think they're worse than ours. I actually didn't put them down. I'm just saying that. I'm probably lying about it.
It's
but
fine.
Yeah, they're not good teams. So we beat some not good teams. We lost to South Alabama, who's number 1 or tied for number 1 in conference, and we have them coming up in next week.
Yeah.
So it'll be a big test to see what's going on, how this team performs. Was it on the road tomorrow night at Texas State, my Bobcats, and then Texas State net ranking 162, and then at Arkansas State on Saturday net ranking 97.
Ooh, that's gonna be a test.
Yeah,
that's gonna be tough. But that's what we talked about in the last week, though. Remember, just if we can get this homestand, get 3 of 4. Well, we did it, but competition's going up, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be this is gonna be a true test to see how we perform against these two teams. Like when we played South Alabama, we lost by like what I think it was a bajillion, 2 bajillion, or something like that. We lost to South Alabama.
Seems close.
Around there.
20 bajillion, something like that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how we do against these two teams. I don't know. How are you guys feeling? Like I said before we got to this point in the season that this 4-game homestand was going to be the make it or break it for Hayes. And if we needed at least 2 of them for him to survive the season, we got 3 of them.
So you just lose the rest now, right?
Yeah, right.
No. I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead.
Based on like what I've seen, and I'm not very good at basketball in general, but it seems like maybe a flash in the pan. I don't feel like we're going to be very good throughout the season based on everything else that we've seen. I don't think that we've found ourselves or anything like that. I'd love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, but I just doubt it. And I haven't seen anything very impressive through the wins, except for that one half-court shot, which is, it's
right.
That happened.
Miraculous.
It's rare. It's not. Yeah. You can't expect that.
I feel like we're trending kind of where the first year of Hayes' team was, maybe slightly worse. Maybe. I mean, we might get around the same amount of wins. We're definitely not on the upswing. I mean, if he keeps this lineup and they keep winning, okay, well, we're all wrong. But I still feel we're playing the bad teams and beating them when we're supposed to, because we're a middling team, right?
But yeah, in overtime and having to come back from a 16-point deficit as well. But one thing that has changed is from like that South Alabama game is, and something that we talked about, we have control over, is the 3-point shooting has gone up astronomically. We were like in the 40s or 30s or something like that. We were under 50% in free throw shooting at South Alabama. Now we're like in the 70s, 80s in these past 3 games. So that's at least one sign of improvement. Without that, we lose these games. We lose both these games if we miss just a handful of those free throws like we did against South Alabama.
Well, if you can't shoot and you can get fouled, you can make free throws, you can still win games. So we were not shooting, getting fouled, and not making free throws and not winning games. So
yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like back at that point, it was they should just foul us because we knew we weren't going to score the free throws.
Southern tried it, right?
Hmm?
I mean,
Southern's just the worst.
We shot 30 free throws in that game. 30. That's a lot.
They didn't have a lot of fans show up to the game. But
no, it was weird.
That late game.
Wow.
It was a late game.
They're scared to come downtown. The box is very scary.
It's probably the nicest place in downtown Atlanta right now. Yeah, but we normally get a lot bigger crowd. It didn't really look much different than it did for the Coastal game, honestly.
I don't feel like they're happy with their team, their coach. So that might be part of it.
When are they ever happy?
When they win the Sun Belt.
The last time that happened was
in football. That's it.
In football, yeah.
I don't think they really truly care about basketball. I think it's football, baseball, then basketball for them.
Well, they're fair weather fans.
They only care about basketball if they're winning, and then if they're not, they're like, "Oh, whatever. It's not round ball." Blah, blah, blah.
No one cares.
Basketball is the worst attitude to have. The absolute worst attitude. It's great when the premier sports are doing well, but there's no way you should ever trivialize the rest of your programs. You know, it's just
it shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, at least the top 3 sports, you should support all 3, and not be fair weather. I mean, you should support them all, but if you're going to support the top 3,
yeah, but I'm never going to like if we're kicking ass at football and we're losing in basketball and like they give us crap about, I'm like, yeah, you're right. We should be better at basketball. I'm not going to say I don't care about basketball. That doesn't matter. Did you see the football score? You know,
I'm with you. It kind of hurts with baseball when we, have that huge surge to start the season, winning a ton of games, and then we kind of shit the bed the rest of the season. Like, yeah, it hurts because I want to see us do well in baseball, especially against TDS.
Absolutely, but the baseball has been so weird. Playing where we play, the fact that we've been able to do as well as we have done in baseball is just miraculous with the facilities that we have. You saw they have they're doing a baseball luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that,
which I don't recall. We've done the football kickoff. We've done the basketball tip off. Which the football kickoff was in the Convocation Center, and then the basketball tip off was in the football stadium, and now we're having baseball in the football stadium. But at least the baseball has like locker rooms and workout rooms and everything in Center Park.
It's true. Maybe they'll give us a pre-spring groundbreaking.
That's
update.
What I was wondering. What a great time for them to like literally. They don't even have to be
right.
It doesn't have to be the real thing. Just get Blake and Cobb and I can't think of his name, Strom, out there and just throw a pickaxe on the ground, cut a ribbon, and done. Like it doesn't even matter if they don't do it for actually really get started for another 2 or 3 months. They could say they had their groundbreaking ceremony when you actually have some baseball. I'm curious how well attended this is going to be. This is put on.
I don't think they should do it if they're not going to start now. They should wait on the groundbreaking, make another event, double dip on this, whatever. But I am curious about attendance for this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it or not. It's a hard day for me. On Wednesdays are always hard at my work.
I will be in Florida getting ready for my cruise, my 90s cruise. So I will not be in attendance. So
like getting ready, you mean drinking heavily?
Well, getting ready, it's on. You said it's on a Wednesday, Ryan? It's on the Wednesday? I thought it was on a Thursday, but it doesn't matter.
I thought it was a Wednesday when I looked at the calendar. The 29th?
Yeah, I thought it was actually. Right? Either way, I can't go. I won't be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
it's only like $30 though.
$30 a person, $200. So they didn't say that you actually got a player at your table this time.
Yeah, you might not.
Yeah, may not. And it's also I didn't realize this. It's baseball and softball It's not just baseball.
Ooh, are they going to ground break on softball too at the same time?
At least give some. We hear that softball wants to stay in Panthersville.
I want to hear that from the softball coach's mouth.
Right.
Yeah,
like, I love Panthersville. I do not want to leave.
I guess if you make us, we'll do it.
Well, I mean, softball actually has slightly better facilities. The Bob Heck Field and everything is better than what baseball's been playing with. But yeah, oh well.
They have regular chairback seats in their facility.
Oh, do they really? I've actually never been to a softball game, so I'm horrible.
One or two. Yeah.
We had one of the women's teams sitting in front of us for the Coastal game. I kept on trying to figure out which team they were based off of what pictures they were looking at on their phones, and I think I figured out that it was women's tennis. It was women's tennis that was sitting in front of us. Yeah.
I wonder if they make them go to a certain number of games or something.
Yeah, I think there was. So back in Sports Arena, back in like the Nick Arbuckle days, and I think Nick may have actually been responsible for this, that we got a lot of the football team out to the basketball games, like those student athlete sections there behind the baskets. They got pretty rowdy. That's a pretty rowdy section over there. They had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was good to see. I think I think they've got a guy and a girl athletes that try to get all the student athletes together to go out to each other's games and stuff like that every season, but I don't know how many actually happens. They were not paying a lot. The women's tennis team was not paying a lot of attention to the basketball game. One girl was just sliding through all the Instagram photos of the tennis team the entire time. Another girl was watching a soccer match on her phone.
It's whatever. You're there. You're there. Body in the seat. You're showing up.
Bodies in the seat. Absolutely.
Hey, there are fans that sit there on their phones too, so you can't fault them.
There's a lady even sitting in front of me for every men's game. I don't think she was there for Coastal. Just recording the entire game.
Oh yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah, like can we get her an ESPN Plus subscription so she can go back and watch this later on?
Pirating it, yeah.
I wonder if she's part of Stream East. If she's actually putting that out there for other people to watch.
Oh boy, no wonder the connection sucks for Android.
Yeah. They announced the MAC Challenge team back to basketball. We're playing Buffalo up and at Buffalo in February.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. What the hell? Why? Why would you choose? What the hell?
It's just the way
February, huh?
It's kind of slim pickings anyway in the MAC, right?
Oh,
so they did this. So this
go to Ohio.
This is the second year of the MAC Challenge, and you saying that, Ryan, maybe just think of this. It's not something I was thinking of before, but I was playing the MAC Challenge. Like, so last year we played away on the first leg of it, and then they came here in the second leg, and so they flip-flopped it this year. So they came here. If we're playing MAC schools, doesn't it just make sense for the MAC school for us to go up there at the beginning of the season, go up there in November when it's not minus 57 degrees outside, and then just keep it that way where we always play on the road to begin the season and then have them come down here into like decent temperatures for it's inside game, but still.
But Buffalo is like famous for having the worst winter weather in America. Like that's what they're known for. That and Buffalo.
I actually saw this today, unrelated to basketball, but in the NFL, they have the second lowest average temperature for games in the NFL. And I guess Green Bay's probably number one. Green Bay's probably number maybe Minnesota, one of those right up in there. I will say I would love. My sister-in-law went to Buffalo. She doesn't give a crap about their sports, but because of that connection, I've always kind of like just thought about Buffalo as a team that I want to see us play. I would go up there, even in February. Buffalo's cool or cold. It's awesome. They've got some good breweries. Obviously, the wings. And if you go, you got to go to Duff's. I know Anchor is the place everyone says to go, but you got to go to Duff's. That's where the real wings are. In Buffalo.
When you post that on the group chat, I actually thought about it for a half second, then I realized I wasn't going to be available to go.
You're going to be here either.
You've used all your miles? Like,
no. I'm gaining miles right now. What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the year. Fresh start.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be at a cabin for a Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, yeah. That is Super Bowl weekend, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You guys do it every year, don't you? You guys, that's a tradition to go to a cabin for the Super Bowl.
It's become one. So But yeah, when you posted, I was like, "Ooh, that sounds fun. I want to go do that. I want to go get wings and watch Panther basketball."
I would, if it was a different weekend, I would totally go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just get them to reschedule. I'm sure the Sun Belt will, adhere. We can just swap them.
Sunbelt is not listening to anything I say schedule wise. That's
If we do a
very
tailgate,
obvious.
I'll smoke some wings for one of our tailgates. That'll be good enough, right?
Sorry, Ryan, your smoked wings are delicious, but we're talking about buffalo wings, not smoked wings.
The
Come
real
on.
deal.
The real deal.
Y'all, they're just chicken wings.
So what do you think? Like you had them,
See,
right?
that's because you've not been to Buffalo.
Well,
You've not had Duff's wings. You don't
have
know
you
what.
So what do you think? Like we compare to wings here, David. Like, are they the shit?
So we went up there, and when I went to Anchor Bar first, because you got to go to Anchor Bar, but everyone says you got to go to Duff's. So we got Anchor Bar first, and we got their regular, just their hot buffalo wings, and they were some of the prettiest, like best looking, but just standard tasting wings I've ever had. But they looked great. It looked fantastic. Everything was cooked perfectly. Just the
Fried
flavor
well,
was
but maybe
just
not seasoned as well as they could have been.
it just tasted like wings. It just tasted like buffalo wings. Nothing crazy about it. It was good. It was great, but it was like, but I love wings. Then we go to Duff's, and I'm like, oh, this is what real hot wings are all about. Duff's is a whole different thing. It's fantastic. They serve Pepsi, so they suck there.
Ooh.
But
It's New York.
I mean, you're drinking beer anyway, so who cares what they serve, right?
Sure.
They've normalized it. They don't even know that they're doing something wrong at this point.
But they come like so like I like a good sloppy wet wing, and they come in almost like what I would call like
Yes, you
wing
do.
soup. It's like there's so much extra sauce that's included in there, but they still stay crispy as well. Duff's is the best.
All right,
All right.
we got to go up there. We got to get football to schedule Buffalo, and we'll all go up there.
It's still
Yeah, let's
not
hope-
something that couldn't be recreated here.
There actually is a Duff's in Georgia. There's a Duff's
there?
and an Anchor Bar in Georgia, but they're not in Atlanta. They're
Oh.
like Southwest or South Atlanta. But I don't know if they're still here. I haven't looked in a while, but there was an Anchor Bar and a Duff's both in like Southwest Georgia or something at some point. So, but we should go there to watch the Buffalo game.
Yeah, Noonan.
Noonan, yeah, that's like South or Southwest
That's
or
not too
something,
far.
right?
Hell if I know. I don't know where Noonan is.
It's just past, kind of past the airport, Petrie
Yeah.
City on 85.
Oh, that's not bad then.
It's not that far. I had a friend that lived down there that I worked with at the movie theater who moved to DC and then back, and I used to go hang out. There's a Taco Mac down there, an actual Taco Mac that has good service. I know there is one. It's not in Atlanta. It's in
When's the last time
Unit.
you've been there, though?
We moved away, so
Yeah,
never.
there you go.
Now it's like every Taco Mac. You order food, you don't get it. You order a beer, you might get it, and then when you want to leave, it takes 2 hours.
The wanting to leave part, I totally agree with. My service has always been pretty decent at Taco Max I've gone to, even
depends.
Yeah, I've
Even on
had good experience.
corporate days.
I like the original, the little one. It's fun.
That's the one that I go to now that the Cater one closed down. If I go to Taco Mac, it's the Highlands is where I go. So
I used to
and
go
so-
to the Midtown one all the time. When I worked in Buckhead, I would get off the train and I would just stop in there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna grab a chicken sandwich and a beer," and they knew my order. I'd walk in, sit at the bar. They'd say like, "Oh, you want this and this? Yeah, let me see your ID."
yeah, they know everything about it. They know everything you want to the T, all the specials, the substitutions and everything. But I got to see your ID.
So dumb. It's so dumb. I'm like, guys, because they're like, if somebody was, if we have somebody in like plain clothes that's like watching us, like they'll fire us. It
Right.
doesn't matter if you're a regular or not. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, that's so stupid.
The Midtown location is, my opinion, the most sterile Taco Mac
It
location.
has bad service. Well, it used to have really good service, and then it went downhill. Like a lot.
It's an
of
odd
them.
layout, and it's not.
At-
I
at
feel
the
like
bar
I think it's
is
got to be a nightmare for the
service.
servers over there. Like the bar's fine. My mom got kicked out of that Taco Mac on my wedding night.
Do tell. What did she do?
Yeah, the man. So we went there after the after party. We went to Taco
Okay.
Mac because our hotel's like right there, and the whole wedding party's there. A bunch of guests, and my mom's like falling over drunk or whatever. And manager comes over, he's like, "You got to get her out of here." I'm like, "This is your bar. This is not mine. This is my wedding night. I'm not doing crap."
That's not close to your wedding venue. You guys chucked it a little bit.
It wasn't far.
You said
we went from
Hyatt?
we were just like at the wedding was in West End and hotels in Midtown. That wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
Or
It's over by
West
Bone
Midtown,
Garden, right? Bone Garden. It's not West Midtown. It's like north. It's
West
like
End, whatever,
West
West
Side.
Midtown, whatever they call it over there.
West Side.
Alpha Howell Mill.
yeah.
That was a good hotel stay, and then clutch to go to Taco Mac. Open super late. Are they still open late, or is that like stopped after COVID? I don't know.
They're open. I mean, I think they're open to like midnight. I don't think they're open to like 2 or 3.
I remember going there at 2 or 3 in the morning.
That was
Came up in
maybe the
Sandy
Decatur,
Springs.
the Decatur one, maybe.
Sandy Springs.
I would imagine. Well, Decatur one's closed, but
Well,
took
now.
the bench warmers that took their
Yeah.
place is open till I think 2 or 3.
Like Decatur used to be our after bar spot because they stayed open like an hour or two longer than Atlanta bars. The last call was an hour or two later. And I think it was officially an hour later, but I say an hour or two because I know that we overstayed our welcome at plenty of those places. And then you could always go to Trackside. They just stayed
Oh,
open.
Trackside. Trackside's
you know,
fantastic.
Old school Trackside before it burned down. You
Right.
know, you go in there.
It's
and
not. I mean,
you
it's
just get a contact high.
it's cleaner now, but it's still very much still Trackside.
Oh yeah. But it was definitely more Trackside before.
It was a dive bar before. Now it's kind of like a refurbished dive bar.
Yeah. They haven't quite worked the stains into the carpet yet.
Carpet. they expanded like the game rooming area type stuff too. So it's I haven't been there. I mean, I went there. I guess I went there in 2024. We went there after something.
Yeah, that reminds me of.
We were all there sometime recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there. Kim was there with me. Kim and I were there for something. So, what were you saying, Tim?
No, you talk about stained carpet. It reminds me of the J.R. Crickets that used to be at North Ave.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably not stained carpet. It was like sticky.
You should just not have carpet in restaurants.
No, it's a bad choice.
Yeah.
Like even like fancy like fine dining places should not have carpet. Maybe on the walls, but definitely not on the floors.
Just makes me think the get them to the Greek,
That's exactly it.
Pet the wall.
Pet the wall. What was it? Pet the walls.
Pet the fuzzy wall. Pet the furry wall.
Fuzzy walls. Yeah, Get Him to the Greek is one of the funniest movies ever
I
made.
have to rewatch that. It was good.
The
But I've only seen it one time.
the soundtrack is phenomenal as well. It is really good.
Hmm.
All right. I think that's all I got, guys.
Seems like enough. I don't know.
We covered everything. We're ready to go to last call.
Yeah. There was signing day. Like a phone went like ablaze with all these different tweets of guys signing
What
for
was
football.
that?
My God. Everybody was
What
retweeting everything.
notification do you have set up that made that happen?
The
recruiting.
McGee's Georgia State recruiting Twitter account. I get those to get push notifications for those because I want to see what he's talking about and everything. And yeah, every single person that signed got pushed out on that thing. My phone just kept on going crazy. It was awesome.
It seems like people were excited for us. I saw people bragging on the job they did. It's hard to get excited about. I think we were like ranked in the 70s or something, but that's still like really good for a Sunbelt team, for a mid-major, and still better than all the other Sunbelt teams in existence.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's the best Georgia State signing class ever. It is I think it's the third best in all of G5. So obviously best in Sunbelt.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. But how many of these guys are going to see the field in this season? And how many are going to transfer before they see the field?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really judge a class until they're done playing, right? But I mean, it still counts for something. And if you constantly have better recruiting classes, you will see your team doing better. Like even if
that's the thing,
all the players aren't clicking, like your 4-star guy doesn't do like a 4-star, that it all trends together.
Right. You sign the best class in the conference. That does not mean the very next season you're going to have the best team in conference because you got a lot of young guys that are going to redshirt. You got guys that are just not ready for it yet, or going to be backups. You got seniors that take priority preference. They have the experience and everything. So yes, just having the best class this
just a
year,
lagging indicator, right? Or
right.
Leading indicator.
Now, if you're having the best class for several seasons, then one would expect that you're going to have a top team in conference. So as long as McGee keeps it rolling, we should be doing good.
But I mean, he's twofer, right? I mean, he's been killing it in recruiting for us. I mean, both his recruiting classes have been phenomenal for what he's had to put together.
Yeah, I think that we still were like 10th or something this past season, but he came in February. He didn't have a lot of chance to really do anything. So he still cleaned house and got 50 something new guys in.
It was impressive.
He needs to hold. He needs to hold on to him. That's a big part of it, right? I mean,
and he has been, right?
There's another portal window in April, so he's got a 10-day portal window to keep everyone he's got signed from, I guess, entering the portal again.
Right. I mean, that's NIL money, and then these guys seeing I'm going through the spring practices, figuring out am I going to be a starter? Like if I'm not going to be a starter, then I'm just going to bolt. I love the flexibility. These guys can do whatever they want to do. That's what it should be to a certain extent. But man, it makes it difficult on the coaches to really plan for a season when you're not exactly sure who's going to be starting come August. When you have this, go through all of spring and people start bolting. What happens? These guys leave, and now you're like, crap, I got to find a replacement for him here. So
I know there's a lot of discussion that coaches are getting annoyed with the portal and they just want one window from January 2nd to the 12th, and that's it.
Are they gonna limit their own transfers to other programs to that window too? No way in hell. No way in hell. And if they agreed to that, I would definitely listen to what they have to say about it.
Yeah. Ryan, I'm with you on these guys should be able to do what they want to do. I do think though, they're not just regular students. They are, they're coming to school because they're part of a team. And I think you can put some rules around what student athletes can and cannot do if they come to the school because of the team. So as far as having a limited transfer portal, or even putting limits on going back to the old way, where if you transfer, you sit a year. Maybe you get one transfer for freebie, no sitting, but you got to sit a year if you do transfer, to try to discourage that from players doing that. With no loss of eligibility. I think you shouldn't lose any eligibility if you transfer and you sit a year. They're not taking eligibility away from anything else. So
preferable situation is to me is that they're free to transfer as much as they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason they want. But I would settle for, coach is part of the team too. They should be part of the rules too. So if you want to limit transfers because you don't want to break up the team, coach is part of the team. You got to limit transfers for them.
Coach is a paid employee. Employee.
So are players.
Well, no, they're not employees. They're not employees.
No, but they've always been. I mean, they're paid something? Paid students? I don't know. What?
These are academic focused athletes that are there for an education, Ryan. That is all they're for. Football is a secondary thing filled with money. That's it.
Yeah, they're playing a kid's game to get an education that they will take into the business world or into their future, and they'll use that education for all of their wealth generation for times to come.
Those are all words that mean really nice things, but I don't think they apply.
But there is breaking news on the portal thing that we're talking about.
Oh, do you have it? Do you have it set up, David? No.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
I think I made it.
It's all good. You don't have to.
I think I can't do it.
Okay.
It takes more stuff.
So the football bowl subdivision coaches tonight voted in favor of replacing the 2 periods to 1, and only in January, starting in 2026. So they're trying to get rid of the second transfer portal.
That just came down just now. They voted to take it to the 1.
All right. It has to go to some NCAA Division I Council Oversight Committee. Who knows? So
I think it's probably just a rubber stamp. Make sure they're not doing anything illegal.
Exactly.
Well, I think that might be controlled by the P4.
Well, that too.
So again,
I mean, if you're P4, you want both, right? Like you want to be able to get what you want from the G5, and then after everything settles, and then you see what's left, you want to get more of it in April.
It probably depends heavily. But I would imagine they're dealing. I mean, even Georgia has people bailing. I mean,
they do.
So I mean,
Carson Beck. I think we talked about it last week, right?
Carson Beck's going pro to Miami.
$1.6 million
per year.
Isn't that insane?
Shit, he's not
even 3 years. It's $3 million total, right?
It's like $100K per interception he's going to throw.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, he's good enough in college. He might not be good enough to be in the pros. And
we talked about this in the group chat.
Hell yeah,
we talked about this in the group chat. Like, just how much money is floating around in college sports, specifically college football, right now. Were these dollars being paid towards their pack or their institution previously, and now they're pulling out and paying it towards the NIL, or is this brand new money coming in, or was this just all under the?
I was gonna say, or are the bag man just
under the table and happening to begin with? Because this is, I mean, granted, Miami, is a school that's known for having money floating around the locker room and everything, but still, you start paying these guys to come in that have 1 or 2 years left, and you're paying them $3 million. That's absurd. The Michigan guy that got pulled from LSU getting paid $12 million. These guys are getting paid more than some starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That's wild to me.
Well, if you take Carson Beck's situation, he was a serviceable quarterback. He was a good quarterback at Georgia. He wasn't great, but he also didn't have a lot of talent around him. Not as much as Stetson Bennett had. And yeah, he declared to go pro and maybe talk to an agent. The agent's like, draft stock's not that great, blah, blah, blah. And then you got Miami who's looking for a quarterback. And they're like, hey, you come here, we'll give you this. That's a no-brainer. Take the money and run.
So when do we start seeing these players that go get these huge paydays from the Miamis and the Michigans of the world, and then don't play well or don't pan out or whatever happens, and then they transfer again to a Georgia State or a G5 program, and like everyone already knows this guy's got $3 million sitting in his ATM account, and now he's getting
he could pay our entire NIL.
Exactly. You can build a team around yourself. That's a great idea. Like, go get this huge payday. Yeah, go get this huge payday at some other school and come back here and build your own team around you.
Just pay for an offensive line. And be like, look, every sack, I'm docking you guys.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of docking, you saw that Deion Sanders is doing that. He's docking NIL money to players who don't go to class.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, why do you support that?
He's like, I don't care what you what kind of grades you make, but when you're not going to class, that affects me. So I'm gonna start docking your money, because if you don't do what the NFL says, they dock your pay. If you don't do what I say, I'm gonna start docking your pay.
Yeah,
how's that even work? He doesn't control that NIL.
That was all third party.
But Deion, prime time controls what prime time wants to control. Come on.
I was gonna say, I bet if Deion walks into the NIL office and says, "Don't pay this player," they're gonna be like, "Okay, cool."
Exactly.
We might have some legal issues with this contract.
Who knows?
But I don't know how it works. I think we've all assumed that there's not really contracts involved, which there probably should be. And I think that would solve a lot of the issues that keep cropping up, where like you say, oh, this player doesn't pan out, he doesn't show up, or he's not going to class. Like, that can be part of the contract, is like, you show up or you play a certain number of minutes, like, and you got to earn those minutes. Like, we're not just going to give them to you.
Well, the whole thing goes against. They're still calling it NIL, but it's the furthest thing from NIL. This is the whole concept was that somebody could have their own YouTube channel, or they could sell shirts that they designed, or could
sign
go to a car dealership and do autographs for $50 a pop or whatever it is. And now it's like, I'm just going to give you $3 million to be on the roster.
I mean, theoretically, that $3 million still comes with some strings about, like, show up in my commercial, do this kind of thing, whatever.
I'm sure it does.
And and there's a lot of value in that for people. Millions of dollars, apparently.
Millions.
Come to my Zaxby's and eat a chicken tender.
How do you think this
check that box?
How does this affect these players going into the NFL? Like, before you had these players before they're going in, these young guys going into the NFL, they're getting these huge paydays, and that a lot of guys struggled with how to handle that kind of income after not having that kind of money for a long time. And now you guys coming in there, they already got $3 million in the bank and whatever. And do they even give a crap about trying to make it in the NFL?
Well, right before this, you sent that TikTok about the quarterback at South Alabama who has been playing Major League Baseball for a few seasons, is 26 years old.
Has a World Series ring. And has
transferred back into play quarterback at the college level. And I don't know if that happens without NIL. Like, I mean, like we never saw things like that. I've always, like, in my brain just been like, what would happen? Like me, I'm 39, 40. I think I'm 39. And if I somehow figured out I was really good at football, I'm not. But if I did, for whatever reason, I was just like, oh shit, I could do this. I have eligibility, right? I haven't burnt it. Could I go back if they'd have me?
I think
you could sue and get back in.
But the thing is you never saw that before. But maybe you do start seeing that because it's, like, feasible to actually make a living going and doing that, and it's a lot easier to get in NCAA and even get $100K at South Alabama if you need to, or whatever they're offering, and then just make that money, and maybe that's a foot in the door to get into the NFL later if you need to, or just kind of maybe go to Miami and make $1.6 million next year, or go to wherever and make whatever next year.
I do think the eligibility is years you're in college, not necessarily playing a sport, not on a team. Like, I don't think any of us have any eligibility left. We went to school for too long.
Yeah. Because he went straight to MLB, because they don't require college to get drafted for MLB on, like, basketball and football.
Oh, basketball's got 1 year.
Yeah, but they do require it still. You got to go to college to go to the NBA, right?
Yes. Yeah, 1 year to NBA, but baseball, no requirement.
No requirement. Yeah.
That's why you hear about players, like the players that go to the NFL, and, like, this guy is playing for Kansas City, but he was drafted by the Dodgers out of high school.
Yeah.
But he ended up going to wasn't. I mean, I said KC, but wasn't Mahomes like one of those guys? Wasn't Mahomes drafted by a baseball team or something? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah. I try not to follow Kansas City.
I mean, the best baseball players don't go to college.
No. Yeah. It's so rare. Like, we had was a guy on the Phillies that played at Georgia State, but it's kind of rare. You don't really normally hear about on Sunday night baseball, the game of the week, or whatever they call it. They're not having the starting lineup saying what high school they went, or say what college they went to, because they always went straight to the minors out of high school, bounced around for maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years, and then bam.
It probably still makes sense to go play baseball at a college for even half a scholarship, just to have that, like, backup, that piece of paper to, like, go get a different job if you need.
I think for your fielders, I think that you're not wrong. I think for pitchers, I think that the lifespan of an arm is so short that a pitcher probably wants to get into professional pitching coaches as soon as possible, because you never know because you have a small roster of pitchers, when they're going to need a guy to come in as a relief guy or as a starter, and you can get picked up immediately. But for your fielders, outfielders, stuff like that, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to go hone your skills, get a college degree, or at least get some education.
Yeah.
So. Well, I think we talked about ending it about 20 minutes ago.
And
we did. Interesting. So
exactly.
We ended up talking about baseball.
Ryan's favorite sport to talk about.
Well,
apparently
it wasn't really about baseball.
And his fantasy career at Georgia State being the elite kicker that wins games for us in his 38, 39-ish, 40-ish range.
Yeah. Just call me Kathy Ireland.
Ah, there you go. He has seen
Whoa.
All right. Necessary roughness.
Yeah. I think I used to say it was Cindy Crawford, and then I realized it was Kathy Ireland.
Yep.
Which we used to argue about who was hotter back in middle school.
Kathy Ireland.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, Elle Macpherson, beautiful woman, absolutely gorgeous, stunning, solid 10. Kathy Ireland's hotter. So.
Ella McPherson?
Is that who said Elle Macpherson?
I said Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford.
Oh, yeah, still
like Kathy Ireland.
Yeah.
Kathy Ireland.
Yeah.
I really thought you said Al McPherson.
There's something about Cindy Crawford that's just not quite right. I don't know.
Oh no, Cindy! I had a Cindy poster in my bedroom as a child.
I had Cindy Lauper.
I did not have Cindy Lauper,
Because girls do just want to have fun.
which is why they don't call me.
And you were like, "Oh, those girls are having fun."
It's like the girls just want to have fun. Let's find the 47-year-old guy talking Georgia State on a podcast. yeah, that'll be
that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
All right, you want to take us out of here, Tim?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for listening. We're going to take a quick break here. Restock the bevs. I'm out. Well, actually, no, I have a little bit of beer left, but I need some more. Head over to Last Call. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, please consider joining our Patreon anyway at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You get live streaming access, discounts on merch, group chat, breaking news, adult bevs at tailgates, sometimes on the top of the parking deck, or the CC deck, or by the magnolia trees. $5 a month to become a fan of the show. We'd love to have you aboard. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.